Hi, I'm Tiffany Guarnaccia, the CEO of Kite PR, and we're here for our Modern Mentorship series. It's all about the Young Lions edition. We're getting ready for Cannes Lions this year. It's going to be fantastic. There's so many submissions from so many creatives, and we're here celebrating, of course, creativity, but a big part of the Young Lions is mentorship. And I have Stacy DeRiso. She's the US CEO of Initiative. Welcome, Stacy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me today. So I'm really excited to just hear from you and get your perspective. Just starting at the top, as we think about the young lions and young professionals as they look to advance, how do you think about mentorship today? What does mentorship mean to you?
I think mentorship has played such a big role in my career. I think about often actually when I first started in this business in this industry, there weren't a lot of people in leadership positions that looked like me. Really meaning a lot of females at the time in leadership roles. But over time, that's of course changed in a really positive way. And throughout my time in this industry, I've built amazing relationships and asked amazing women and men, for that matter, to be my mentors. People I've worked for, people I've worked with, clients that have truly guided me, helped shape who I've become, the path I've taken in my career, but also called me for an opportunity, given a reference for a next job. Mentorship is priceless. And I think, to say maybe is this a cliche yet? But your network is your net worth. So build those relationships wisely, and you never know who's going to be your next boss or your next client. So be kind to everyone.
That's such great advice, Stacey. And I remember the same. I mean, I started off in the ad tech industry maybe 25 years ago, and oftentimes I was one of the only women in the room, and it was intimidating, right?
Yeah, it very.
I kind of I was, but I tried to lean into that. So when you think about the journey that you've been on and really where you've been and where you are today, it's just so amazing to see your career path. Is there any other advice you'd give your younger self when you think about the steps you've taken to get where you are?
Oh man, advice I'd give to my younger self. It's funny. I just did a career fair at my one of my daughter's school. She's a junior in high school, so this is to teens. And I saw, and I've also done a program with our residents, our summer residents last year. And I thought a lot about advice I'd give to my younger self. And I think one of the things I always say is choose the clients or the brands that you work with wisely, though they are a reflection of your own values and who you are. So think about that, right? What do I want to represent? What do I want to represent me? I think another piece is like it's a small world in a small industry, so be kind. Um, and I think lastly, one of the other pieces of advice I'd give is trust your gut, right? It often leads you in the right direction, and I'd say far more rarely uh, does it lead you astray.
That's such a great point. And I want to come back to even your point around relationships and preserving those relationships as you develop your career because they're so valuable. And sometimes they can get lost today in the shuffle, thinking about continuing to advance and how we're just inundated with technology, thinking about the people who make up those networks and how valuable those connections that are for us. To your point of being kind and really thinking about how you're not burning bridges, you're just developing new relationships. I love that. When you think about where you are today, being a CEO, I know there's a lot of pressure to stay competitive and to really embrace innovation and disruption, right? All the buzzwords, it's important
Yep.
because it's such a time of disruption right now. So, where do you find inspiration in the role that you have?
Yeah, I'd say I find inspiration, probably I'll think about inspiration in a number of ways, right? Inspiration in the work, right? In the work that we do. We work with amazing brands here at Initiative. We have the privilege to work with amazing brands across a number of categories. And I find inspiration in the work we get to do on their behalf. Amazing award-winning work that's, of course, getting attention from the industry, but also making an impact on their businesses, right? I find inspiration. I also get really I don't know the right word I'm looking for, invigorated by that though. So I think that's part inspiration in the work. I think inspiration in the people. There's something I think really specific and relevant to young lions or young people in our industry, which is the reality is that's who shape the industry as we know it. If you think about media, the way we consume media or advertising, content, all of the above, that is shaped by Gen Z and young talent, right? Think about it. Our industry, our careers have changed so significantly than when we started out. We were consuming media on very different channels in very different ways. And over the course of our careers, that's changed a number of times. Right now, it's changing again, being driven by our consumption of TikTok, of influencers, of social in many different ways. And I actually think that's amazing. And that's one of the things I talked about at my kids' school was like, you guys define my career in some ways, right? The way we consume media, the way we make media decisions on behalf of big brands is defined by people entering our industry at this point in their lives, which is incredible. So that's exciting.
It's so exciting. Great point, Stacey, that these young lions and like younger creatives in general are really bringing the inspiration and great ideas
Totally.
everywhere within an organization. But back to the technology point, I do have to ask the question. It's on the tip of everyone's tongue right now. When we think about AI, I know it's coming up in so many different conversations. When young professionals are coming to you, what's your advice for them on AI? Should they embrace it? How should they think about it today?
Have to embrace it. And that's not just for young professionals, right? That's for all professionals. I think at the end of the day, how we use AI and the extent that we use it will be what makes our work better, what makes our thinking better, what makes, our solutions better, will be how we use AI.
Yes, for sure. And one thing that I got from today's conversation, which has been fantastic, really made me think about some of the principles around what we do in marketing and advertising. Often, we've heard the old saying, content is king. But from you, Stacey, I heard in building your career, relationships are king, or should I say queen?
Chips are
When it
king.
comes to those connections and how important they are today and in the future. That's just absolutely fantastic advice for everyone. So I have to ask, Young Lions are coming up. We have some events to celebrate. Why are you excited about the Young Lions this year?
I'm always excited about the young lions. Like I said, I think given the role that the young generation plays in our industry and our business, and the extent to which they shape the way we consume media and advertising is amazing. I also think an initiative, it's really amazing. We've had winners in the past 3 years of Lions, so excited for a fourth this time. I think it's also a great moment for us to see the coming together of both creativity and media, right? We don't look at them separately in the Lions, and so I think it's a great reflection of that and the spirit of that.
Fantastic. Such a great point. Well, thank you so much, Stacey. I really enjoyed today's conversation. Appreciate you joining me.
Thanks for having me.